Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to now call the March 5th meeting of the Brunswick County Board of Education into session, and as is our practice, we will start with a moment of silence. And we will now have the presentation of colors by the West Brunswick High School JROTC.
Color guard, let's head, son. Gary, colors. Forward, march. Color guard, hold. Pose, colors. Ready, front, center, face, present, arms. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Center, face. Forward, march.
So everybody take a seat if you will. Board members, do I have a motion to approve the meeting agenda? Motion by Mr. Barger.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
And we now are at our public address portion of the meeting. Mr. Attorney, will you, Mr. Cronk, will you please review our guidelines for that?
Yes, sir. Presentations will be limited to 3 minutes per person or 3 minutes per organization. An organization delegation representing the same concern shall select one individual to make a presentation on its behalf. Discussions regarding a particular individual employee, litigation, student records, or other matters which may be required to be kept confidential may not be discussed in the open forum setting, and the chairman will have the responsibility to determine matters of discussion that may be inappropriate and rule the speaker out of order if necessary.
Okay, our first speaker is Brian Rupp. Brian, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Rupp. I'm the father of a county freshman. You hear me? All right. I want to speak plainly tonight about the risks of the changes to Policy 3515, freedom of religion in schools, the problems that it creates for our district, not in theory, but in actual practice. On paper, this policy is about protecting religious expression. No one here is arguing against student rights, but those rights already exist. The concern is what happens when the safeguards around those rights are loosened. When that happens, responsibility shifts from clear rules to individual judgment, and that's where the problems begin. The biggest risk, of course, is litigation, not because anyone intends to violate the Constitution, but because interpretation invites mistakes. If a teacher participates a little too actively in a student prayer group, if a coach is perceived to lead a prayer, or if a school event includes speech that feels endorsed rather than independent, those situations can quickly become federal cases. And in those cases, intent does not matter, only perception matters. Another major concern is inconsistency. Without strong oversight, one school may allow broad religious expressions, while another one restricts it. This uneven application opens the door for claims of discrimination and makes it hard for the county to defend itself against said claims. Public events are another flashpoint: graduation speeches, assemblies, athletic events. These are moments when a single incident can escalate quickly. One complaint can turn into a media story, then a legal action, and suddenly the whole district is under scrutiny. This goes beyond legal risk, obviously. This is also about our students. Public schools are supposed to be for everybody. Students of all faiths, students of no faith. When these policies create gray areas, students feel excluded, pressured, and overlooked. That's not the environment we need to be creating for our students, especially in a public school. The issue here is not whether or not religious expression is permitted. Of course it is. We've established that up top. The issue is whether or not the policy provides enough clarity and enough protection to ensure it's handled correctly, consistently and fairly. Right now, this policy puts too much weight on individual perceptions, individual interpretations. That's where the district can get into trouble. We should be aiming for a policy that protects rights while also protecting the district from avoidable risk. As written, this policy does neither of those. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sue Duncan. Ms. Duncan, the floor is now yours.
Good evening. My name is Suzanne Duncan. As a retired teacher and the parent of a graduate of South Brunswick High School, I'd like to speak about the importance of balance in how we approach freedom of religion in our schools and share my concerns about the proposed changes to Policy 3515. This is not about opposing anyone's beliefs. It's about making sure the policies for Brunswick County schools reflect fairness, clarity, and respect for every student and staff member who walks through the doors of our schools. Public schools serve a diverse community. That includes students of different faiths, as well as those who do not practice any religion at all. Because of that, schools have a responsibility to remain neutral, not promoting religion, but not restricting individual expression either. When policies are unclear or too broad, as I feel these changes are, that balance can be lost, and students may feel pressure, exclusion, and/or discomfort, even if that was never the intent. I ask you to think about a student who feels like the only one who doesn't share the majority belief. That student deserves the same sense of belonging and safety as everyone else. A strong policy should protect their experience just as much as it protects someone expressing their faith. This is why clarity matters. Where is the line between personal expression and school endorsement? What safeguards are in place to ensure that authority figures do not unintentionally influence students? We need to ensure that these questions have clear answers and not assumptions. I encourage the board to not change the current policy. It clearly protects the constitutional rights of individuals while also maintaining the neutrality that public education requires. Lastly, the justification to change the current policy is to promote character development. The current policy, however, already promotes character traits that we want to foster in our community, as stated in paragraph 4, recognizing the importance of religious heritage in our country and the diverse religious beliefs of members of the school community. Brunswick County Schools needs to provide an educational environment where all students and staff feel respected, included, and free to be themselves. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're now at our board salutes portion of the program. Ben, are you leading this? Lloyd's going to do the first one. All right, so Lloyd, you're going to come up
So, good evening, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to Mr. James Lyons. In March, we had a competition with we need you on the camera. Public can see you, my friend. There you go. Is this better? Yes, sir. So in March, we had a competition with Pender County, New Hanover County, and Brunswick County. It's called the Bus Rodeo. It's basically a driver competition where they go through several obstacles. Mr. Lyons has been a bus driver with us for about 5 years. He's an exceptional children's bus driver at South Brunswick. And he was able to, out of 35 participants, he came in third overall, and he was our leader in Brunswick County and the best driver in the competition for us. So we wanted to recognize him and give him a plaque tonight and say how much we appreciate his daily work.
What about a picture? We're going to do a picture with each one individually or with?
We might have to chase him down.
Woo, Mr. Lyons. He took off for the bus. He's back on the bus. Bus rolls out. They got an early morning.
We can take a picture with him.
Mr. Lyons, did you leave your bus double parked out?
That's right, it's early. They got an early morning route.
Go ahead, Ben.
It's my turn. Good evening, Board of Education. Tonight, we are proud to recognize several Brunswick County students and staff members for outstanding achievement in mathematics competition at the regional and the state levels. So as I call up names, what I'll have you do is come get the certificate from me, and then there's like a metal box on the floor right there, and you'll stand right in front of the school board, and then we will escort you over to that other wall to take a picture. So up first, we will begin with Gabriel Falders of Cedar Grove Middle School, who earned 4th place in the Level 1 competition at the Southeast Regional Mathematics Competition. His strong performance also earned him a place in the State Mathematics Competition. Congratulations, Gabriel. We now turn to 3 students who competed at the state math competition after advancing from regional competitions. We recognize Stuart Miller of Town Creek Middle School for earning 3rd place at the state math competition.
Wow.
Stuart? Now we will recognize Enzo Norton of Town Creek Middle School for earning 6th place at the state math competition. Enzo? We also recognize Aubrey Edson of Cedar Grove Middle School for earning 8th place at the state math competition. Aubrey? And next, we have Vivi of South Brunswick High School for earning 1st place in the large school division at the UNCW Regional Mathematics Competition. Vivi's exceptional performance also advanced her to the state mathematics competition. Vivi? And we'd also love to recognize Mr. Jeffrey Rickard of Town Creek Middle School, who received the Level 1 Teacher Award at the Southeastern Regional Mathematics Competition. This honor reflects his leadership and dedication to supporting student success in mathematics. Mr. Jeff? Please join us in congratulating all of these outstanding students and staff members for representing Brunswick County Schools so well through their hard work, achievement, and mathematics. Scholarship. Next, we are proud to recognize Kyle McCoy, a student at West Brunswick High School, for his extraordinary achievement that reflects both personal excellence and the strength of our career and technical education programs. Kyle was awarded the Pamela Carter O'Brien Scholarship by the North Carolina DECA Foundership. This scholarship is valued $50,000 and one of the most prestigious honors available to DECA students across the state. Wow. Kyle was also awarded the, what was that again? I'm sorry. He was also awarded the Moorhead Kane Foundation Scholarship, which is he's the only student in Brunswick to ever get that award. It's the most prestigious scholarship in all of the United States, so I'm sorry for leaving that off of there. And 50 years. So Kyle's accomplishment is a testament to his outstanding leadership, strong academic performance, and his commitment to excellence. He represents the initiative, dedication, and drive we are proud to see in our students. Brunswick County Schools is incredibly proud to announce Kyle for his remarkable achievements. Congratulations, Kyle, on this well-deserved honor. Thanks, Kyle. And tonight we are also proud to recognize Olivia Fluharty of West Brunswick High School CTE teacher. Okay.
Yeah, do one more. So what's coming up to take his photo with the board, if we can go ahead. I want to say I got a text from his advisor for DECA whenever he received this award, and I instantly said, I think you added an extra zero. I'm pretty sure. I've never seen a scholarship for $50,000. I'm pretty sure you meant $5,000. She sent back, no, $50,000. So this is a huge scholarship. On top of that, to get the Moorhead, phenomenal job to Kyle. So congrats to the family as well. That's huge.
Ben, why don't you let him announce the schools that he was accepted to?
Kyle, would you like to come up and talk about the schools? And if you haven't seen, I did a nice video on Kyle and all of his accomplishments. It's on Facebook, so you can see that as well.
So where are you going, Kyle?
I'm going to UNC Chapel Hill. Go Heels.
Yeah.
That's the Moorheads specifically for UNC. Also want to thank my mom through the application process. I think it's a funny story. We butted heads a lot on that Moorhead application. Our writing styles were like different, but like it helped a lot. It was a 6-month application, so it was very long. Also through the other common applications, I applied to Harvard, Columbia, Brown, UPenn, and Dartmouth. It was accepted into Brown, Columbia, Dartmouth, and UPenn. Harvard rejected me, but it's all right.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's their loss. Don't worry about it.
and other colleges as well. But those are like, I guess, the highlights.
Yeah.
So I guess that's all.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Just wants me to sit down, but he's being a little more humble than as his mother, think that he should be. He applied to 19 colleges. He was accepted to 15 of them,
Wow.
including North Carolina State, where he was admitted to the Honors College. He was accepted early admission to University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, one of only 100 accepted into their Honors College.
Wow.
He was also accepted into the University of Florida, Clemson, University of South Carolina, and their honors college. And I'm not sure I can remember the rest of them. The one thing I do want to point out is, I tell you a story that I think a lot of parents, especially of high achievers, and if you know the tension and the stress that comes with it. We were in Waterford and Leland, probably 4 weeks ago maybe. And we're just swimming along, we've got all the applications behind us. We think everything is, on cruise now. And all of a sudden I hear, "Mama!" And I was like, "What happened? Did someone just run into us? Or we get rear-ended and I didn't know it?" And he goes, "I just got into Columbia." How do you know? How do you know? Because he had his phone. We were at stoplight. He had his phone in his hand. We were at that long stoplight. Fortunately, made the right. And I was like, how do you know this? And he goes, because I just got an early acceptance.
Oh.
Columbia is the hardest, statistically this year, the hardest university in the country to get into. 0.03% of
Wow.
their applicants got an early interest or early acceptance letter. I say this bragging about him because he has been industrious, and I think one of his teachers, Ms. Bailey, somewhere in there, may remember him from Supply Elementary School, if you had only known. He has been so industrious and driven all of his life. So for this to be the culmination with something that, if you don't mind, letting me take these few minutes to brag on him.
Absolutely.
But more so than that, there are a lot of teachers, Olivia Fluharty being one of them. There are a lot of motivators, Ms. Babson, the Poolins at West Brunswick, Ms. Chin, Ms. Sadezrak, who were critical and pivotal in his success. And they helped drive him, they helped keep him going. So not only is he your first Moorhead Kane Scholar, and I'm kind of shocked at the number of people who don't know what the Moorhead Kane is, but it is the first merit-based scholarship in this country, not just this state, in this country. And it is the most prestigious scholarship given in this state, and it is worth well over $200,000.
Wow.
Not only does he get free education at the university, they also expand his horizons with completely paid for summer internships and trips, and he gets to become part of a network that will last him a lifetime. When he got this, one of the very first things that he said to me after all the emotions calmed down was, I want all the other students in Brunswick County, I want all the other high school students to know that someone from West Brunswick, South Brunswick, North Brunswick can get this scholarship. They had thousands of applications. They gave that scholarship to 69 kids. Brunswick County, not only is this Kyle's time to shine, but it's Brunswick County's time to shine. And I hope that even though he is the first in 50 years, and yes, the Moorhead Kane Scholarship Foundation did have the only other Moorhead Kane Scholar to call him, and they had lunch at Inlet View, so that's just a testament to how wide and long lasting their network is. But I know that he is the first in 50 that is followed one after another.
Yep.
I hope that what he has started continues, and 5 years from now, Brunswick County's got 5 more.
Yep.
Thank you all very much for
Thank you. Congratulations to you too,
Congratulations.
Mom.
letting Mama brag.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Feel free to use him as a story to inspire all the other students. Because he literally said, I'm so thankful to know that everybody else can know that somebody from little old Brunswick County can get this.
That's right.
Thank you, Ms. McCoy. Thank you very much.
May I ask what you're going to study? May I ask what you're going to study? Do you know?
Yes, I'm studying environmental science and public policy.
Okay, excellent.
Well, tonight we're also proud to recognize Olivia Fluharty of West Brunswick High School, CTE teacher and DECA advisor for an outstanding accomplishment early in her educational career. Olivia was awarded the Kenneth W. Smith Award for Professional Dedication. This honor recognizes exceptional commitment and excellence among new teachers. This distinction highlights Olivia's strong work ethic, professionalism, and unwavering dedication to her students and school community. Olivia exemplifies the high standards of excellence we value in Brunswick County Schools' career and technical education, and we are fortunate to have her and such an exceptional educator and advisor on our team. Congratulations, Olivia, on this well-deserved recognition.
Mr. Chairman, do you mind if I make a point just real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
I just would like to point out, not only am I super proud of Kyle's accomplishments, but I think it's important to point out too, because of how much I know I value career and technical education, and I think this board does as well. And a lot of times people think that a lot of times parents are pressured into thinking that their students have to choose between like maxing out AP classes in order to try to drive their GPA up as high as it can be in order to achieve, scholarships and grants and that sort of thing. And some are successful in that, and they ended up landing at a university with a lot of money to use towards their tuition, but no idea of what they want to do. And then they embark upon the most expensive career exploration program in the world, which is figuring out what you want to do at a four-year university while paying that tuition. When in reality, they would have been a lot better off if they had mixed in some career and technical education opportunities and classes to help them figure out what they want to do down the road. And I just think it's important to point out that one of our best and brightest students academically who's heading to a four-year university like Carolina on full scholarship also earned a scholarship through career and technical education and through a career technical student organization like DECA that's been around for 100 years. And so I just wanted to make sure people understood that CTE is important and it can help guide your future and make you a more engaged student than just taking a bunch of AP classes to try to drive your GPA up. So good decision making on that.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Mr. Smith, I believe you're up. Mr. Smith's going to give us a presentation on a situation at Walkamaw Elementary School, Walkamaw School, involving some smoke damage. Go ahead, Larry.
Yes, sir. Just wanted to discuss and inform the board of the incident that happened on March 20th a timeline of events I'll go over. If anyone has any questions along the way, please stop and let me know. So I received a call that morning from Roman Kelly, the principal at Waccamaw. It was a little after 7 o'clock, and he was letting me know that the school was filled with smoke and that there was a development across the road that had been doing a burn he was aware of the day before. Apparently the day before the wind was in a certain direction. It didn't affect him that much. And he said that the school was filled with smoke, and he was immediately questioning whether we would be able to have school that day. I immediately called my supervisors, got my team moving, and headed in that direction, and immediately let Mr. Cole and the cabinet know what the situation was. And as soon as everyone got there, and it was quickly determined that even though the burn wasn't active, that day, the smoldering locations from the day before and the wind had shifted. I'm not sure it was expected, but it had shifted in the school direction. And it had created an issue in the school that I think everyone knew immediately we were not going to be able to have school that day, even though the buses had already run and students were there and on the way. Mr. Pascal kind of took over. He was there that day. He immediately started taking action. It was decided that an early dismissal would happen at 10:30 after the buses could get there. Parent notification calls were made by Mr. Strauss, and a press release was given, was submitted after all the parent calls were completed. All the other principals, directors, the SRO were notified so that the leaders across the district were aware. Child nutrition and custodial staff were sent to other schools to finish out their shift that day. And we immediately contacted ServPro, which is kind of our partner in building mitigation issues. They were fortunately on site within an hour. Plan was approved. The goal immediately was to put a plan in place to where we could get back in school Monday. This was on a Friday when this occurred. And the goal, of course, was to get everyone back in Monday. And it was kind of in doubt because when smoke gets in your duct system and soaks up into the materials in your classrooms, it can be very disruptive, and that smell can bother a lot of people that are sensitive to it. But I'll give them credit. They did a good job. They put air scrubbers in. We had 60 of them running. So every classroom and every individual area had an air scrubber and an air mover put in place. We continued to run our HVAC system, and fortunately, on Sunday morning, Mr. Kelly went back to the school, and even though we ran it the rest of Sunday, he had told us that they were already in excellent shape. He could not smell any residue, smoke residue, and he felt like they could have school Monday, which we did. We returned to regular schedule. So that's the timeline of events. We put together some cost figures through, no fault of Brunswick County Schools that this event cost us. The transportation costs that day, getting the buses back to the school, and they still had to make their other runs in the afternoon at the schools they usually run at. So this was in addition. That cost at $4.22 a mile times the number of miles ran comes to $1,947. The salaries that day for all the individual employees that work at Waccamaw, their one-day salary and supplement came to $15,764, and the ServPro 3-day bill that we got invoice was for $43,485. So that unplanned incident wound up costing us $61,197.
Does that conclude your information, Larry?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any questions?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Smith?
I would just note, Mr. Chairman, that, I know this created quite a bit of controversy and anger within the community, and we take it seriously, and I hope we can discuss with our attorney, what next steps could be.
In fact, we will do that tonight in closed session. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Larry. Okay. We'll look to approve our minutes since our last meeting. We have our April 14th regular meeting minutes. April 21st, we have curriculum operations, finance, HR, and our budget work session minutes. You've all been provided those prior to the meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Barger,
Second.
a second by Mrs. Cook. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Here, so the minutes are approved as presented. Committee reports. You're up, Ms. Smith.
Okey dokey. So our April 21st committee meeting, curriculum always takes a little while. But Superintendent Cole requested moving the July committee meeting from Tuesday, July 21st to Thursday, July 23rd due to the administrator retreat. There were no objections from the board, so just a note to the public that it will be on Thursday, July 23rd for our next committee meeting. Yes. We had a presentation from Ms. Jen Damon about phonics program adoption preferences. The new phonics program options were presented to the board and for board approval. Following a structured review plan, surveys were collected from stakeholders for feedback on each curriculum option. The board requested additional data on professional development. I think Ms. White is going to be sharing that with us. Ms. Damon's going to be sharing that with us at the May board meeting, which is tonight. Or is that
Correct.
committee?
She's going to
Right.
share it tonight.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I have Ms. White. Okay. So thank you, Ms. Damon, for coming. Superintendent Cole addressed recent changes to CASEL, which is NCDPI's recommended framework to provide the required instruction of social and emotional learning skills. He expressed concerns that this focus may overstep the school system's bounds in the instruction and development of students. So he ordered the removal of all references to CASEL in local documents and proposed a framework of character education to provide the required social and emotional learning instruction. We had asked, excuse me, for an update on the Brunswick Virtual Academy, and there are some questions in the community about this, so we will continue talking about BVA, we call it, Brunswick Virtual Academy. At the request of the board, Dr. Pascal, he just recently got his doctorate, so congratulations,
Congratulations.
Dr. Pascal. Dr. Pascal provided an update on the expansion of BVA. Review of the remote academy application is expected in May. Is it still on track?
Yeah, so this Thursday, the State Board of Ed is planning to review that application. So hoping that we get final approval this Thursday by the end of the workday. So,
Okay, fingers crossed.
and we're prepared for all marketing and information to go out soon after that decision.
Once approval is granted. And then there were lots of policy updates that were placed on the consent agenda. For more information on those policies, there were lots. You can always go back and watch the April 21st committee meeting or check the notes after tonight, and they'll be posted. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Cook, operations.
All right. We had an update from Mr. Smith about the occupancy capacity at Union Elementary. We had previously authorized operations to look into the design services to determine if the property could accommodate addition of a modular unit or to a supplemental building capacity. And with this compatibility confirmed by the engineer, staff prepared a cost comparison for the board to determine whether to rent or purchase a modular unit. And the board consensus was to go ahead with the intent to purchase, so we will have more information about that. And we also had an update from Ms. Bear about the complete camera system from North Brunswick High School. West Brunswick already has a complete system that was a pilot. And so now they've selected North Brunswick as the next site for implementation. And we're requesting a comparison between a smart camera system, which is recommended, and a lesser state-of-the-art option. So they're going to work on that. But right now, West Brunswick does have the state-of-the-art cameras. So that's what we're going to look into for future cameras at North Brunswick. And then I'll continue on to the Finance Committee.
Please do.
We had some budget amendments from West Wissy. We had state number 6, which was for $41,220 to appropriate state allotment revisions. Then we had federal number 3, which was a $779 for a federal allotment, which was for EC pre-K. Then we had special revenue number 5, which was $2,421,086.26, and this was to appropriate grants, donations, and other special revenues. And in the absence of a state-approved budget, Brunswick County Schools has been operating under the previous year's budget that was previously approved by the board. This resolution serves to close out the 25-26 fiscal year and the details of the initial budget and subsequent approved budget amendments for each fund. And then we had a presentation by Mr. Cole about the process for evaluation of the superintendent. And we concluded after we learned how we're supposed to do that. And that was the report for the finance.
Yeah, I would like to thank you, Ms. Cook. I'd like to point out one thing. I don't want it just to just gloss over it. She talked about modulars at Union. We now have no opportunity, once this modular is in at Union, to have any additional physical structures on that property. And we find ourselves in that same situation in most of our elementary schools in the north end of the county. And if the bond that's out there in November is not approved, then I just want to make an observation, since it's timely in light of what you just shared with us, that we're going to have some, we're going to be extremely, have to get extremely creative, shall I say, in how we handle the populations that we currently have. We're not talking about stuff down the road. We're talking about what we currently have. So modulars are great when you have a place to put them, but we don't have any place to put them in the schools that are most overcrowded right now. So thank you for that update. Consent items. Board members, you see the consent items, and do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Cook. A second? A second. Any discussion? No discussion, then we'll vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion to approve. Any opposed? So the consent items are adopted. Action items. We referenced Ms. Damon just a little earlier, so she's going to bring us up to speed on our phonics study.
Yes. Good evening. So this evening, we are continuing our phonics curriculum adoption conversation, thinking through to how this aligns with Brunswick County Schools strategic plan. We want to ensure that we have core curriculum for our state tested subjects, and we want to ensure that we meet our state legislation, which requires us to have high quality instructional material that is also aligned with the science of reading. We've historically met that requirement using Letterland. This year, in 25-26 school year, Letterland released a second edition. So upon that, we sought feedback from our schools. 80% of our schools said that they would like to look at options for a curriculum. So through the process of this spring and working through our board policy, we went through the vetting process, and the results were shared on April 21st at the curriculum committee meeting. So tonight, I'm bringing back information to share what the board requested on the 21st. One of the requests was the cost per student projections. I'm going to share those with newly negotiated quotes. And then the second request was for information on implementation details from districts who are using the two programs that we're talking about tonight, which is Reading Horizons and Wilson Foundations. At this time, I have not heard back from the other districts. I'm continuing to reach out. It's only been 2 weeks, so we're going to continue to get that information. I'll update you when I receive that. So looking through to what we looked at on April 21st, this is that same slide that I showed that showed our top two curriculums. So thinking through, we had about 60% of our teachers who were wanting Reading Horizons as their top preference. Looking at our foundations, we had 33.7% of our teachers choose that as a top choice. We did have a third choice, and that was 8.5% of our teachers chose that. So we've been focusing on these two curriculums. So within that, going back to calculate the cost per student, I contacted both companies and I was asking for updated quotes just so they could give us the best that they could give us as we make this important decision for K-3, but also for K-12 budget decision making. So within this, we have updated quotes as of April 29th. So looking at Reading Horizons, we have shaved off $178,757 from the initial quote. That includes Reading Horizons for the first year, professional development costs, as well as the cursive writing handbooks. Reading Horizons has K-2 print handbooks. We also have to provide cursive writing instruction for third graders. It's not in the curriculum. We used the quote from last year. It was about $25,000 for that resource. And then knowing that Reading Horizons is favored for teachers because of the way that teachers can respond to instruction as it's happening and track it, we added in the request that comments were added on the survey asking that iPads or touch Chromebooks be provided so teachers could move around the classroom with the device and be responsive as students were learning. For foundations, we have shaved off $154,199. Within that, that is also including professional development, student and teacher materials. In our initial presentation on the 21st, if you look down at foundations, we did not anticipate a year-to-year cost after that. Upon working with foundations on the new quotes, they did say, oh wait, we do have the Fun Hub and we do have the student consumable books. So that information was added into this. So there is a year after year cost for foundations as well. So the information requested was, what does this look like per student? So if we take our total number of K-3 students, 3,958 students projected for next year. For Reading Horizons, taking that total cost of that first year, which includes the cursive writing handbooks, which includes the iPad or touch Chromebooks that are needed to best, implement that program, that's looking at like it would be about $204 per student that first year. For foundations, looking at that total cost for the first year, which also includes professional development for both. We're taking all of that into what we want to provide the best instruction for our students. That's $151 per student. Looking at year two, I increased the student population by 5%. That's where that 4156 comes from. And then looked at their year two cost. So for year two, for Reading Horizons, about $48 per student, and for foundations, about $49 per student. Did the same thing for year three, added another 5% for anyone moving into our community just to have a ballpark number, and we're looking at $49 per student for Reading Horizons and $46 per student for foundations. So I know it's a big conversation because it's a K-12 budget. I don't think we can go wrong with either curriculum. I feel like Reading Horizons is known for the explicit instruction and the teachers being able to take data. Foundations is known for being multi-sensory. If we think about Hegarty, there's a lot of hand motions and action, and that's what Foundations brings. So I think we have two really good choices, and we won't go wrong with either one. It just depends on budget and priorities.
need to purchase now to have available for next year, I would have to have request that I do a budget amendment for that to bring it back to the board at the next meeting for approval, or you could just vote on it tonight and I'll send the document out. If it can wait until July 1, then we can appropriate the funds in the new year budget.
I don't believe it can wait until July 1 because of implementation.
Ms. Damon, can you go over again the percentages of what the teachers requested for these programs?
Yes, ma'am. So if we look at all feedback, which included all of our educators who looked at it, parents, community members, 57.7% chose Reading Horizons as the top choice. And Foundations was 33.7 as the top choice. Would you like the second choice numbers as well, or just the first choice?
Yeah, just give it, if you would, please share the data.
So for their second preference, because we had those top three, UFly was included in that. For the second choice, Foundations had 49.2%, and Reading Horizons 25.6%. And then I also shared in April that we had pulled out a group of teachers. We looked at last year's K-3 reading EVOS and quantified it at +1 growth index. And for that group of teachers, for the first choice, we had the majority chose Reading Horizons. 39 chose Reading Horizons, 11 chose Foundations, and 7 chose UFly as their top choice.
So our best performing instructors who were in this survey preferred Reading Horizons by a 3-to-1 margin.
That 60% of them, it
Well,
was 60% overall.
You
But
said
yes.
39
39.
and 11 of our teachers that had a +1 index on EVOS, correct?
Correct,
So it was 39 to 11
correct,
in that cohort.
correct.
And those were our top instructors that were involved in the,
That was all of our teachers with a +1 index from last year's K-3 data. And then we did have another team following board policy called the ICC team that helped with all of the preliminary to narrow down the choices. And out of that, we had 32 teachers on that team that met that qualification of +1 and did some extra work along the way. And out of those 32, 19 chose Reading Horizons and 5 chose Foundations as the first choice.
Okay.
So pretty much 60% across the board in all the main groups that we looked at.
I have a question.
go right ahead.
My question is, in the past, I know I've been out almost 4 years, but they have iPads and they also have touch Chromebooks. Are you saying we would need to buy new ones that are more suited for this, or they can't just use the ones they
So
already
not
have?
every teacher has a touch Chromebook or an iPad. Some have devices that are not touch, and for this type of instruction, we definitely want
Right.
the touch feature.
I understand that, but are we buying everybody a new one, or are we just buying for the ones who don't have one? That was in the quote, I guess is my question.
So they've almost all been phased out at this point,
Okay.
and they're obsolete. We made the decision as a district to move iPads out. They're a higher cost, and being a Mac product, it's more work for our tech department to have to work through 2 different upgrades and things like that. So we have phased out most of those devices, and then I think you're referring to the yogas where the touch screen
Right.
Chromebooks, and those have phased out as well. So our teachers have the Dell laptop computers for the most, and then their desktop is our primary service with that. And occasionally they'll have one of the student Chromebooks that they'll use, and those are not touchscreen.
Right. Because in the past, we had to have those for
We
DIPLS
did,
testing.
we did for the iStation transition with that. So there was some funding, but those devices are now obsolete.
So then the budget is to buy all new ones then?
In that,
Okay.
for Reading Horizons.
Okay.
It's not needed for the Wilson, so that's the price increase.
Right. I mean, I think the data speaks for itself. You have 60% of your teachers, and then 39 out of 51 or so of your highest performing teachers who are recommending Reading Horizons. I would say we listen to the experts.
Do we have any kind of a motion to be put forward in regard to these two curricula?
I make a motion that we go with Reading Horizons because we need to listen to our
Experts.
experts, and the top teachers have, I mean,
Second.
evidence is there.
Okay.
Mr. Cole has a question.
Well, we'll get to discussion. So we have Ms. Moffett has made a motion. It's been seconded by Mr. Barger. And is there any discussion?
If
Mr.
I
Cole?
may, I recommend that we adopt Reading Horizons for the same reasons that was mentioned. I prefer the data collection processes that go along with Reading Horizons. I think it makes it a much stronger product. Although in the first year, it does also at the same time, for those same reasons, make it the more expensive product. However, I want to reiterate that we have a budget for K-12, and I certainly want to give our expert teachers what they want. But sometimes we can't give our expert teachers everything that they want. We can give them what they need, and we can give them some of their wants. And I think I just want us to be aware that when we make a commitment like this, it could impact, because we also want to work towards a comprehension curriculum change, possibly, that it could impact that decision for next year. So I wanted to make sure that that was said, at least within the budget that we currently have.
I would note that as far as how it will impact this year's budget, it looks like based on the data on our top line here, 39, let's just say 4,000 students, there's a $50 difference. So that's $200,000. So it's $200,000 this year. There is no difference going forward that I can see in the data that we have. So the impacts will be this year at $200,000 to the budget. Because, I mean, we don't have the option to not buy something, do we?
Well, and that wouldn't matter if next year we were going to do the same exact thing. But if we're then going to add a new comprehension curriculum next year, then it does matter, because it's the number, the total number.
So is there a piece in the Reading Horizons that is addressed in the foundations that would take us out of that predicament next year?
Well, it would just be cheaper to the budget overall. I mean, we have a certain amount of money to spend on K-12 curriculum and instruction, and as we add pieces, the cost of each of those individual pieces has an impact to the overall budget that can then impact decisions made on other pieces of that budget in the future.
Are there additional items that we will have to buy in year 2 and 3 because we're going with Reading Horizons that we would not have to buy if we went with Foundations?
No.
Okay, so the only difference in
iPads.
Pardon?
Just iPads.
But that's this year. That's what's creating this gap in the cost this year. So we have a $200,000 difference over these 3 years, which we will absorb this year. After this year,
Well, we're going to have to maintain those iPads and,
Yeah.
fix them when they get broken, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So there will be additional, subsequent year costs will come from that whenever you have a technology piece to
yeah,
something.
well, I mean, yeah, but I understand.
Okay.
But
I mean,
in
that's all I
terms-
wanted to say.
In terms of the cost of the difference in the cost of what we're considering tonight, it appears to be $200,000 over the course of 3 years. Okay,
Minus maintenance and,
plus maintenance.
right.
Any more discussion?
Well, I think the other thing is, our staff is being graded and the school district's being graded by the state metrics that we don't create. But when we ask staff for their opinion and what's going to be the best tool for them to use, it's kind of like, if I'm building a house, I want them to use the best equipment and the best materials. If our contractor, being our teachers, say this is the best materials for them to build our house, then I say we build it.
He's referring to a firm foundation.
I think he is too. I mean, it's priceless what you can get.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve Reading Horizons, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none? It's Reading Horizons, by golly. Okay. Huh? No, I'm closing that discussion. All right,
Just real quick, Mr. Gainey, will we need a budget resolution item added to the agenda?
We will.
for committee.
We can take it to committee. It's going to prolong the order until we have the budget on the books. So if you would like to go ahead and tell me to do that this evening, I'll prepare it and send it to you in the morning for approval.
Okay, as soon as it is reasonable and prudent to do so, I'd like you to take
Could
care
we
of
get
that.
would someone like to make a
I'll
motion?
make a motion to get the amendment moving so that we can get approval for tomorrow.
So we have a motion for finance to get a budget amendment post haste on this purchase, on the impact of our current budget. And we have a motion from Ms. Moffett, second from Mr. Barger. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Appreciate, Ms. Dana, we appreciate all your work and Ms. White with
thank you.
surveying the teachers and giving that feedback.
Mr. Pascal. Mr. Pascal's doing, Dr. Pascal. You'll have to forgive me, sir, if I don't remember that.
While he's approaching the podium, Ms. Bullard, can we get him a new name tag made? Please. Thank you.
Does he get to wear a stethoscope now?
I've been asked that a few times. I'm not gonna lie. Thank y'all, and I do appreciate it was a lot of.
You're not a real doctor, Dan.
No, you're not a real. That's exactly how I answered. I'm not a real doctor. I'm not prescribing that. Yeah, I will say I have to thank my team also for the past 5 years. I took the long route. I did take the 5-year route, and my wife especially for the support at home. But thank y'all. So we are actually coming for you with the MOU for the BCC and the early college MOU. So we were actually doing this before. It was a legal requirement. Now it is actually a general statute. Every PSU or every district has to have their own MOU with the early college and or the CCP, Career and College Promise. So for all of our community college partners, they all have to now have this. We've had our MOU for years, so we've just tweaked it. This year we did make a lot more tweaks in the positive direction, being more explicit and very specific with who owns what, specifically in facilities and who is responsible for which part of their campus and their building that we're using on a regular basis. Just happy to be able to clarify that. Dr. Smith is great to work with on a regular basis. We meet with them at least once a month, if not sometimes twice a month. Mr. Cole and I on a regular basis are in those meetings, and we work through big ticket items like this, curriculum as well, and then our connection with all things CCP and early college. So this MOU was no different. And we met over the past 2 months to really clarify it and solidify what you have before you. So any questions or clarification? This is an action item. I should have said that up front because they have to get it to their board for approval as well.
And so by and large, this is a renewal of an existing
Correct, yeah.
MOU that we have with Brunswick Community College. Any questions from Mr. Pascal?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Mr. Barger, second by Ms. Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Did you have was that the only one? I thought there were two.
What's this, the rest?
Oh, that was just one MOU. Okay, cool. And I'll let you know, board members, as the superintendent, as the chairman, I asked Mr. Cole, our MOUs are pretty cut and dry, pretty straightforward stuff. Usually it's just renewals of existing agreements, but I wanted the public to know about all the partners that we have. You know, it's important. And if we don't, and we're always covering these MOUs in committee, And I don't think people understand that of course, they know that we have an agreement and a partnership with BCC, but, Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCA. I mean, there's just such a long list of organizations that we partner with. So for at least the balance of the year, we'll start addressing our MOUs in our regular scheduled meeting. Okay, Ms. Wissy, you have some budget items for us to consider.
I do. These are all pretty typical of this time of the year. We bring them every year for the May committee meetings. This year, I've asked to bring them tonight, this evening. The first one we have is the capital outlay budget resolution for the 26-27 school year. In March, Mr. Smith presented the capital outlay budget to you folks for your review and for feedback. And we've received no recommendations for changes to that. So tonight, we're asking that you give final approval on that budget for the upcoming year.
Anybody have any questions? Okay. Well, let me just ask. Can you just give us all the?
Certainly.
And if we don't have any objection to them,
Certainly.
we'll take a motion to approve them all at once. Can we do that?
Sure.
I believe we can. Okay, go ahead.
The next item on the list is the current expense interim budget resolution for 26-27. I'm sorry to say we're bringing this again this year because we do not expect to have a state budget by the time we close out this year to begin July 1. As of now, we still don't have our federal planning allotments for the coming year to even begin to know how to budget those dollars. So at this point, we're asking for a continuing resolution, which will allow us to continue spending in the coming year at the current year's level until we can bring you the superintendent's budget once the state budget's passed.
Any questions on the continuing resolution? We did that this time last year. We've done it during this past year as we continue to wait on the budget. So unfortunately, this has sort of become a standard operating procedure over the last 18 months.
Now we're working on numbers from 2 years ago,
Yeah.
so.
If there are no questions, then we'll move on to the next item.
The next item is our lottery fund application. We receive lottery funds each year from the State Lottery Commission. This year, it's anticipated to be about $1 million. We have used that historically to pay debt service on prior year local obligation bonds. So we're asking for approval to submit this application to use those funds again the coming year for those. We'll have to forward this on to the county for their approval as well.
Any questions? Comments?
One quick comment. This is the only lottery money we get. And I get that question a lot through our bond email address on our school bond referendum webpage. Why isn't the school lottery paying for the schools that we need? Brunswick County is a Tier 3 county, therefore economically, as designated by the state, by their definition, which means that we are not eligible for lottery grants to build schools. New Hanover County isn't either. And so that is the reason why we can't write lottery grants for state lottery funds. But we do get a certain amount of money every year that every county gets a percentage. We have always used that money to pay off debt on past capital outlay projects.
Okay.
The next item on the list is an annual certification to increase the level for bidding with federal dollars. What we're asking is that we exceed the $10,000 limit that the federal government has set, that we're allowed to exceed it up to $30,000, which will put it in line with our state and local bidding rules. This just ensures that if we have something come up during the month where we have to go ahead and use federal dollars for a purchase, that we don't have to go through the full bidding process for something as little as $10,000.
And just as a point of clarity, this is actually a recertification because this is what we currently have. So there's no change here. But we have to do it every year because the law only allows, without this certification, 10,000. Questions?
All right. The next item on the list is our payroll schedules for the year 26-27. We put these out every year so that our staff knows when to expect to get paid, the months they're getting paid for, and the absence dates that are included in that that paycheck. So this is just to allow us to do that. Any questions?
Again, a matter of standard operating
Absolutely.
procedure that we do every year.
And the last item I have is year-end budget amendments. So what this allows me to do is between the time we have our last meeting of the year and the first meeting of the new year, should we have any state budget amendments come down that need to be put in place to close the year, it allows me to do that and then bring that to you in the following month. It also allows us to make the accounting entries to true our books up to the actual dollar amounts the state ends up giving us for position allotments during the year. So it's accounting entries. It does not impact our revenues or expenditures at all. And that's all I have.
Okay, before we vote on this, I want to, again, I don't want to miss the opportunity here. We talked about the capital outlay budget, which is $9 million, I think. Is that correct?
It's $1 million this year.
The capital outlay budget?
Oh, I'm sorry, not 9, sorry.
Yeah, it's
yes.
$9 million. If we do not pass the bond and we end up having to go to a limited obligation bond, which would be the other financing mechanism for the schools. Now, I can't say that the commissioners would necessarily approve that, but I assume that they would. If we do that, that's a 20-year obligation, and it often, if the county will be responsible for that repayment, but if they find themselves between a rock and a hard place financially, they could require us to pay that indebtedness back out of our capital outlay budget. The payment on that limited obligation bond for a school, not for that whole, just for the elementary school, right, is over $8 million a year. So we have a $9 million capital outlay project to cover capital expenses for the whole year in the district. If we have to start pulling off of that to help retire a limited obligation bond, the public should understand that that's a very precarious position for us as a school district to be in terms of our ability to deliver what the Constitution calls for, which is a sound basic education. So we'll be significantly, or potentially, I should say, compromised on our ability to do that in the future.
Mr. Gainey, do we want to explain for the audience and for those watching at home what we mean by the capital outlay budget?
Well, the capital outlay budget, I mean, it's for maintenance, of capital investments, roofs, HVAC, paving, I mean, you know, it's.
Technology, equipment.
Right, it's our physical plant, so to speak, across the county, and that's how we keep it maintained, is through our capital outlay money. So we have these, however many, how many of these? There were 6 budget resolutions here for us to approve.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a motion to approve? We have one from Mr. Barger, a second from Ms. Smith. Any comment? All those in favor? Aye. It is passed, Ms. Wissy. And so that brings us to the end of our regularly, of our agenda items. Mr. Superintendent, do you have anything to share?
Just a few quick things. I continue with bond presentations to the public. Since our last regularly scheduled meeting, I completed one at Bald Head Island for their town council meeting. I'll say that the mayor told me that he was very impressed and thankful that I came out to the island to give a presentation to them when they didn't have any kids on the island that attended our schools. And I told him, well, based on property taxes, if it passes, they're going to be paying more than anybody else probably. So he was very appreciative that I took the time to go out there because of that. And I truly mean that. I mean, you know, that they have some pretty expensive property out there. So that'll make a difference for them. And they deserve to get the same presentation that we give to all of our other town councils. So plus I got to ride the ferry. So it was pretty cool. I also gave one at Belleville Elementary School the other night. That was our largest one yet. We had about 20 or so people show up. So a lot of great questions. It took us about an hour and a half just due to the high level of questions that we got. And it was very enjoyable. So We have one coming up very soon for the Southport Kiwanis, which is a very large group. I've presented for them before, so I'm looking forward to that. This Friday, we have 2 Brunswick Community College graduations. And we have a ton of high school kids that will be walking at the BCC graduations that have earned a 2-year degree during their 4 years in high school, or they've earned job certifications on the workforce development side of the college. And that's how they divide up the 2 graduation ceremonies. So we'll be looking forward to that. And just to inform the board that tomorrow I'll be driving to Raleigh. The North Carolina Principals and Assistant Principals Association is having their luncheon to honor principals who have completed the Distinguished Leadership and Practice Program, which is a year-long program that focuses on training principals how to become distinguished on their evaluations. And Miss Jamie Rhodes, our principal at the Coast, is completing that tomorrow. So I'm going to ride out and be a part of that graduation ceremony. And then on the way back, I'll be stopping in Wallace in Duplin County because the State Board of Education and the state superintendent are meeting, they're having their meeting in the southeast region this week.
I will see you there.
Are you going to be there?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So I'll be coming through from Raleigh, and I'll stop there, and we'll see if what we can convince the State Board of Education to do to make our jobs easier and for our teachers.
All right, thank you for those updates, Mr. Cole. Board members, do I have a motion to go to closed?
I make a motion. Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Smith, second by Mr. Barger. All in favor? Aye. I want to call the regular session back to order. Actions arising, do we have minutes to approve from the, no, we don't approve closed minutes.
Previous,
Yeah.
yeah, we
Huh?
do.
Would you
From
like me to make a
previous meetings.
motion
I'd
to-
like to make a motion that we approve personnel as amended.
Yes, well, I was going to ask about that. So there's a motion to approve personnel as amended.
Make a second.
I have a second, and from Ms. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And approval of closed session minutes from April the 14th and April the 21st. Do I have a motion to
Motion.
approve? A motion by Mr. Barger,
Second.
second by Ms. Cook. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
A second, motion to adjourn by Mr. Barger, second by Ms. Cook. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We're
Done.
adjourned.